Hi guys, Casper MMA here, and today we're back with another UFC predictions video on the channel. Today giving my predictions for UFC 316 Dvalishvili versus O'Malley. Now I'm definitely going to be referring to him as Merab for the rest of the video because I cannot say that last name, Dvalishvili or something like that. No idea, but yeah, I'm looking forward to giving my predictions for this card. Going back to last week's UFC card, it was the Barber versus Blanchfield. That didn't even happen, that fight, but that was a mess of a card. It wasn't very good to watch, but I kind of like, I was watching the basketball and then I had on the UFC kind of on next to me, and I kind of saw some of the fights, and we did pretty well on picks, to be fair. As bad as the card was, it was one of our most successful cards of the year. I mean, we got Brahimaj, I think his name was like a 3-1 underdog. We got him right, which basically boosted us loads. We only got 2 picks wrong. I thought Bruno Lopez was a lock. Justin Jacoby just knocked him out. I was like, what the hell? And then we lost the women's fight as well. So overall, pretty decent result. Before I get into today's predictions though, make sure if you guys are new around here and you're enjoying this content, you go down below and hit the subscribe button. It's free and it's much appreciated. So on this card, as it stands, there is 13 fights, and we kick things off with the first prelim of Marquel Mederos versus Mark Choinski. I don't know how you say the name, but Mederos, I don't know how you say his name. He's 10-1 in MMA. I mean, I have talked about him before because I picked him to beat Balaziokin on the last card, I think, but he got like moves. I can't remember if I picked him or not, but yeah, I remember he was meant to fight Oki on the last card, and then it didn't end up happening. So Oki fought some other guy, I think, as well. Yeah, so yeah, he was meant to fight him, but now he's been moved to this fight here on this card. His last win was against Austin Hubbard by split decision. Had another win by decision before that in the UFC, and also got a KO on the Contender Series. So he's a pretty decent fighter. Only lost one fight in his career, which was a split decision back in 2022. So he's been on a decent run, to be fair. His opponent, Mark Choinski, is 8-0 American man, 29 years old. It does look pretty decent. He's got a lot of wins by submission in his career. Was in the LFA once, got one win by submission there. He's beat some decent opponents, to be fair, but like some of the people he's fought haven't been that great. I mean, his last win goes to round 1 finish. So he's a decent fighter, undefeated, to be fair, but I don't think he's going to be as good as Mederos is. I mean, he's already proved himself in the UFC, coming with 2 wins by a decision, and I reckon he's going to get another win here by decision. And now moving up the card to Quillan Salkilld versus Yanal Ashmouz. Now, this should be a fun matchup, to be fair. Both guys are 8-1 in total. We start off with Salkilld, the Australian man. He looks pretty decent, 25 years of age, has 1 win in the UFC against a KO of Jubilee, which isn't very impressive, to be fair. I mean, who hasn't KO'd Jubilee? And then he won on the Contender Series by decision, but he looks pretty decent. Only lost once in his career, and that was his first ever MMA fight by submission. But since then, he's had many wins by finish, like 1 or 2 decisions in there as well. So he looks pretty decent. On the other hand, we have Yanal Ashmouz. He's 8-1 Israeli man. He's 30 years of age. He's a pretty decent fighter. Only lost once in his career, and that was in the UFC to Chris Duncan. He came back from that with a win over Trevor Peake, which was pretty impressive. Beat Sam Patterson as well by KO, which is also pretty impressive. So I don't think he's a very good fighter, Ashmouz. Watched him fight. He's a decent fighter, and yeah, I reckon this is going to be a close match, to be fair. I can see either one getting a decision win here, but I'm going to back Ashmouz. I just think he's a slightly better fighter. He's looked good in his last fight as well, so I'm going to go back Ashmouz to get the decision. And now moving up the card to Ju Sang Yu versus Jeka Saragih. I think that's how you say that name. I have no idea. But he's an Indonesian man, 14-4, Saragih. He's all right. I mean, remember his KO over Luke Alexander like 2 years ago, maybe 1 year, can't remember. That was pretty decent. But then he got submitted in his last fight to Weston Wilson, and he also got KO'd by Jubilee, which is why I didn't pick him to beat Luke Alexander. I remember this fight very clearly. I saw he got KO'd by Jubilee. Was like, this guy's terrible. Then he came and proved me wrong by knocking out Alexander. So he's okay. He's he's 1 win and 2 losses in the UFC, but he did win on like the road to the UFC or whatever that thing is. So he's not the worst fight. He's all right. His opponent, Ju Sang Yu, on the other hand, is a Korean man, 8-0, undefeated, 1 year older, 31. He looks pretty decent. I mean, he's got a few wins by KO, few wins by decision, and then 1 by submission. KO'd someone in round number 1 in his last fight, and now he's made his way to the UFC. So I do think that Ju Sang Yu will win, but this is a very winnable fight for Saragih. I do think I reckon he could just get a KO here, like in round number 1. But I'm going to go the opposite to that. I reckon Ju Sang-yu, he's undefeated. He looks pretty good. I reckon he's going to come in here and get the KO. And now we move up the card to Ariane Lipski da Silva versus Kong Wang. Now, Kong Wang, she was one of the best prospects we've ever seen in the UFC when she knocked out that woman in round 1. Everyone was like, whoa, she's incredible. Then she got choked out in her next fight, which is kind of embarrassing. But then she has come back, did beat Bruno Brazil, looked a lot better in that fight. And yeah, I think hype train is back on maybe. Obviously, she's a very good fighter, 7-1 Chinese woman. Obviously, that KO, no one can look past that. That was incredible. Opponent, Ariane Lipski, 17-10. So many more fights in her career, but a lot more losses as well. I mean, recently she's on a 2-fight losing streak, not doing too well. She wasn't a 3-fight winning streak before that, but she's fought so many people in the UFC. Like, she's been around since like 2019, I think 2018 in the UFC. So she's got a few losses. She's currently 6 wins and 7 losses in the UFC. And yeah, I reckon she's not on a good like streak at the minute. I think Kong Wang is going to look better in this fight, and I reckon Wang gets the decision. Now, moving the card again to Chaos Williams versus Andreas Gustafsson. Now, I talked about Gustafsson in my last prediction video because he was meant to fight, forget his name, Jeremiah Wells, Trevin Giles, that was it. He was meant to fight Trevin Giles, I think, and I picked him to win that one. I feel that was an easy matchup for him, but this one is not as easy, this fight. I mean, he did look good on the Contender Series. Gustafsson, of course. If you want to see me break down his fight in that, I talked about him in the last card, I can't be asked anymore. But Chaos Williams, on the other hand, 15-4, 31 years of age. So these guys aren't too dissimilar in age, to be fair, both in the 30s. 6 wins and 3 losses in the UFC. He's coming off a loss in his last fight this year to Gabriel Bonfim, who's obviously pretty good, and he lost to a submission there. But he had an impressive win over Carlson Harris before that. He's had a few wins now and again, split decision to Randy Brown. He's not a bad fighter. I feel like he's only lost to some decent opponents like Randy Brown, Michael Pereira, and Gabriel Bonfim. So I definitely think he's a good fighter, and I reckon this should be a fun matchup. To be fair, I can see this being a good one, but I reckon Williams is going to take this one by decision. And now, next up, we have some heavyweight action with Sergey Spivac versus Waldo Cortez-Acosta. Now, Sergey Spivac, the Moldovan man, 17-5 in total, is coming off a loss by KO from Jailton Almeida, who's not worst loss to have. I mean, he was meant to fight Shamil Gaziev a couple times, but that got cancelled. He obviously, I think I picked Tibura to beat him, and then he submitted in round 1, which is impressive, but then got KO'd by Gam before that. So he had some decent wins in his career, but then also a few losses recently as well. Only 1 win in his last 3 fights. On the other hand, Waldo Cortez-Acosta, the Dominican Republic man, 13-1. Only one loss coming in like to Rodrigo de Lima back in 2023. Since then, on a 4-fight win streak. He's a good fighter. Waldo Cortez-Acosta, not the best fighter, to be fair, in the heavyweight division, but he looks decent. I mean, he looks pretty good against his Ryan Spann. Knocked him out in round number 2, which is pretty good. Obviously, fraud checked Rebellis to Spain in that fight as well. So this should be an easy win for Cortez-Acosta. I feel like, obviously, it's heavyweight, so who knows what's going to happen. Probably, these are 2 not great heavyweights, really, are they? So it's not going to be a most exciting fight, but I reckon Cortez-Acosta gets the decision. And now, moving up the card to Azamat Murzakanov versus Brenton Ribeiro. Now, Ribeiro, no idea, but he's Ribeiro, 17-7, Brazilian man, 28 years old. Is on 2-fight winning streak, to be fair to him. Beat Nurgajai by submission, beat Kai Machado by split decision as well. Was on a not a great start to his UFC career, lost once to Ming Yang Zhang by KO, then lost a decision to some guy's name I'm not going to try and pronounce, and should be Bruno Lopez as well. So he didn't start very well, come back, bounced back with 2 wins in a row, which is decent, but he's fighting Azamat Murzakanov, who is very good, 14-0 Russian man. He is 36 years old, but he's still pretty good. I mean, that he KO'd Alonso Menifield in his last fight, round number 2. That was pretty impressive. Beat Justin Jacoby before that. He's a pretty good fighter. What can I say? He's currently 4-0 in the UFC, and I reckon he wins this one again. So I reckon Murzakanov gets the KO. Now jumping up to a flyweight match, Bruno Silva versus Joshua Van. Now Bruno Silva is 14-6-2 record, 35 years of age, so he is getting on a bit, to be fair, towards the end of his UFC career. Did lose in his last fight to Manel Kape by KO, round number 3. But before that, it wasn't a 4-fight win streak. Some good wins in there as well, to be fair. Did lose to like Ulanbekov back in 2020, but he's been on a decent streak since then. He's not the worst fighter. Joshua Van, on the other hand, is a very good fighter. 13-2 from Myanmar, I think it is. Yeah. He's only 23 years of age as well. One of the best prospects, to be fair, in the UFC at the minute. On a 3-fight winning streak since his lost to Charles Johnson, which didn't even feel that long ago. He's really active, Van. I swear to God. I swear. I see him like every other UFC card. He had a good win against Ray Tajira, who was an undefeated prospect as well. So proved he's pretty good in that fight. And I'm going to be picking him again. I reckon Van gets the decision. And now moving up onto the main card, Vicente Luque versus Kevin Holland. Now Vicente Luque, I think I picked against him to beat Garimbo. I thought Garimbo would look better, but he proved me wrong. He got the submission in round number 1. Very impressive, to be fair. Did lose to Buckley in that fight before that, which was, I think I watched it. It was like not a great performance, really. But yeah, he's not been that active, to be fair, recently. His last fight before that was the win against Rafael Dos Anjos, then lost to like Jeff Neal and Bilal Mohammed. But to be fair, he only really loses to like top contenders, really, Luque. Like his last couple of fights have all been to like really good opponents in the welterweight division. Kevin Holland, on the other hand, he's 27-13 now. A lot of fights. He's like very active as well. We're just talking about Joshua Van. Kevin Holland, I think he's like the most active fighter on the roster. He's fighting every other week, man. He's so good. He just beat Gunnar Nelson. I think I picked Gunnar Nelson, to be honest, because to be honest, he's not looked great in his last couple of fights. What's his face? Kevin Holland. I mean, he lost to Delize, lost to Derrida, then beat Gunnar Nelson. So yeah, he beat Olejniczak as well, but then lost to Page and Madalena. So he's not the greatest fighter at the minute. Kevin Holland, he's kind of like a gatekeeper for the division. So he's still got it, to be fair. But I think Luque gets this one. I mean, to be honest, either one could win this one. I can see it going to decision, to be honest, but I'm going to back Luque to get this decision. Now, moving up the card to Mario Bautista versus Patchy Mix. Now, this is Patchy Mix's first fight in the UFC. I think it was meant to be Bautista versus Vera, but I'm not too sure. I think Chita Vera pulled out, maybe. But we're excited to see Patchy Mix finally in the UFC. He's coming from Bellator, and he's pretty good. I mean, he's 20-1, only one loss, coming back in 2020, and then he's obviously Bellator champion. Got some good wins as well. Many wins by submission, 13 in fact. 5 wins by decision as well. He's pretty decent. On the other hand, Bautista is coming off that win against Jose Aldo, which everyone hated him for. I mean, it was a split decision, but I'm pretty sure he won like every round. But yeah, everyone just hated him because he just kept like hugging him against the fence, trying to get takedowns. So it was, yeah, not a great performance from him. Is there any Bautista fans out there? Probably not after that fight. And but you can't deny he's pretty decent fighter. I mean, he's on like a 7-fight winning streak, something at the minute. Like his last loss was back in 2021 where he got KO'd by Trevin Jones. But since then, he's looked pretty good. A few wins by submission, lots of wins by decision as well. So Bautista is good, but he's not Patchy Mix level good. So I reckon Patchy Mix gets the submission. Now we move up the card to Kelvin Gastelum versus Joe Pyfer. Now, Joe Pyfer is on a winning streak, 1-fight winning streak. He KO'd Marc-Andre Barrios after he got fraud checked against Jack Hermansson. Where is Jack Hermansson, by the way, guys? Little sidetrack. Where has he gone? Since that fight, he seems to have disappeared. But Pyfer, he's decent. I mean, obviously, he's had all KOs, all finishes, apart from that one decision he lost to Hermansson. He's obviously a very good fighter. Did lose on the contender series, to Justin Stoltzfus, but then came back and KO'd Ozzy Diaz on the contender series. So Pyfer is pretty good, obviously. Kelvin Gastelum, on the other hand, 19-9 in total, 33 years of age. Did come off a win against Daniel Rodriguez, which wasn't the most exciting fight, to be honest. Lost to Sean Brady before that, then beat Chris Curtis. But obviously, he's not the greatest fighter in the world, Kelvin Gastelum. He went on a terrible run for a bit. He lost to Adesanya, Till, Hermansson, Whitaker, Cannonier. Had 1 win in his last 6 fights, which is mental. But he's kind of bounced back. He's got 2 wins and 1 loss in his last 3. But he's not going to be able to beat Pyfer, really, is it? I don't know how Pyfer's going to win, but he's got a lot of KOs. I reckon he's probably going to be the first person to KO Gastelum, so I'm going to pick Pyfer to get the KO. Now, moving up the card to Julianna Peña versus Kayla Harrison. Now, probably going to be one of my quickest predictions on this card. Kayla Harrison's going to win. I mean, it's not controversial to say. She's just way too good for this this UFC division. It is shocking. Like, we've seen some of the talent in here. Julianna Peña is the champion. Like, come on, guys, what is going on? She's like, well, I don't know what the odds are, but like that. Well, she didn't even beat Pennington. Like, I was pissed at that because I picked Pennington to win. I can't remember if I had money on it or not, but she literally was like, no one cares. But like, it was a split decision. Pennington clearly won like 3-2 or something. But yeah, she managed to rob away to a decision there, which was mental. And yeah, the fact she's like a plus 500 underdog as the champ is mental. Kayla Harrison wins and she gets the submission. And now we move up to the main event, Merab Dvalishvili versus Sean O'Malley. Now, Merab defending his belt. Obviously defended against Umar, which I didn't expect. I thought Umar striking would be good, would be able to defend the takedowns of that. But Merab outworked him, did better, and yeah, proved me wrong. I think he might have been the underdog in that fight. I'm not sure, but yeah, he was very impressive in that fight. Obviously looked impressive as well against Sean O'Malley when he won the belt. And yeah, there's not much to say against Merab. He's just a very good fighter. I mean, he's got a crazy gas tank, just shoots a million takedowns, and he's a pretty good champion, to be fair. So Sean O'Malley, he just took a bit of time, like a bit over a year, I think, since that Merab fight, and God knows what he's done. I don't know if he's improved something. I think he's took time to be close to his family or some shit like that. I don't know. I saw that online. I don't know if he's made any improvements, because I can just see this going the exact same as the first fight. I mean, unless he's like drastically improved, stopping takedowns, like be better at the striking. I mean, we saw like if he just I think it was the last round. If he just he can definitely outstrike Merab. He's a better striker, but can he do it against Merab when he's just getting constantly pressured? I don't know, but we'll see. We'll see if he improves, but I'm going to stick with the safe option and go Merab to win by decision. So there are my predictions for UFC 316. Let me know down in the comments if you agree or disagree with any of my picks. And that's going to be all for today's video. If you guys enjoyed it, maybe leave a like, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.